Hello and welcome, Andy here, and today we're reviewing this Hagstrom Viking Deluxe Tremar in limited edition emerald green, and what a beauty it is. This guitar has kindly been sent to me by the wonderful people at Rossetti for review, so shout out to them for making it happen. Just a foreword to say that I'm not affiliated with any companies linked with this review, and I'm not paid to review the product, so what you see is an honest, warts and all review of this guitar. Now, you may or may not be familiar with Hagstrom Guitars, but they started making electric guitars and basses in the late 50s in Sweden. The company disappeared from view in the 80s before popping back up more recently with some heritage-inspired models as well as their own twist on some classic designs. As a brand, they've been used by such musicians as Elvis Presley, John Lennon, Frank Zappa and David Bowie, and currently count Pat Smear from Foo Fighters as an endorser. So without further ado, let's jump in and find out more. So this model is the Viking Deluxe Tremar, finished in a limited edition emerald green metallic, and I'm sure you'll agree it's a phenomenal looking guitar. All Hagstrom guitars are now made in their factory in China, and all the components are made in-house. So starting at the headstock end, we have this unique Hagstrom headstock shape, which suits the vibe of the guitar really well. The pearl inlays are immaculately done, and the binding is nice and uniform all round. The tuners are Hagstrom's own, with an 18:1 ratio and these great looking Art Deco style buttons. They work really nicely with no dead spots or slipping. The nut is a Graphtec Black Tusk XL, and it sits at the top of a bound 22 fret neck with a 24 3/4 inch scale length. The neck is made of Canadian hard rock maple, and it's a medium profile. It's not super thin, but it's not overly chunky, and it sits nicely in my hand. The fretboard is made of a proprietary material which Hagstrom call Resonator. It's a composite material that looks, sounds and feels very similar to ebony. My first impressions are actually really positive. In fact, I actually prefer the feel of this to a lot of the rosewood or ebony alternatives being used, such as Laurel and Palo Ferro, and if nobody had told me, I would have assumed it was just a good quality ebony fretboard. Also, being a composite material, it theoretically won't shrink in the same way that wood can, and should be less prone to things like fret sprout over time. The board itself has a 15-inch radius, which is quite flat compared to similar models, but it feels nice and fast, and the medium jumbo frets make bending nice and easy. The fretwork on the guitar is very good indeed, with no sharp edges or high spots anywhere, and the binding helps to keep the edges feeling super smooth. The inlay work again is very good, with the rounded blocks and the double block at the 12th fret all looking great. Oh, and before I forget, if you like what you see, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel, where we have more reviews as well as lessons, industry advice, tour blogs and much more. Moving to the body, and I have to mention this limited edition finish. The emerald green metallic looks really classy on this guitar and pops under lighting without being too ostentatious. One thing I have noticed is that while the finish overall is very good, the end of the fretboard where it joins the body is a little scruffy. And for me, it's really the only letdown on what is overall a very well finished instrument. It's certainly nothing that would affect the guitar in terms of playability, but it is worth noting. The body itself is flame maple, although it can't be seen due to the solid finish on this model. However, this guitar is also available in black gloss, a transparent blue called Cloudy Seas, and a transparent red called Wild Cherry, and the flame can be seen on the latter too. Moving to the controls, Hagstrom continues with the Art Deco feel with the trem arm, switch tip and 2 volume and tone controls. All of these are solid feeling metal and they're very premium. The guitar features a 3-way toggle switch with a volume and tone for each pickup. In addition to this model features Hagstrom's own Tremar vibrato system, which has some clever design features including a roller bridge, which really aids stability in the tuning, and it also has the ability to pull up slightly in pitch without the spring popping out. The pickups, once again, are proprietary Hagstrom units, in this case the HJ50 models, and they're a medium output vintage voiced affair. They're nicely balanced between themselves, and I found myself pleasantly surprised at their versatility, convincingly hitting tones from jazz and blues through country to indie and rock, and only falling down when pushed into the heavier territory, although I expect that's not the target audience for a guitar like this. I would have liked to have seen some coil split options at this price point, especially as Hagstrom are making everything in-house, but I didn't find the guitar lacking in tonal options specifically. Let's now take a listen to the guitar in a few different musical settings. The guitar is straight into a Line 6 Helix with no post-processing. Overall, I'm very impressed with this guitar, and I think Hagstrom have brought a strong contender to the semi-acoustic party. The quality overall is very good indeed, and setting aside the small niggles on the finish, I think they've done a fantastic job with this guitar. Once again, thanks very much to Rossetti for sending this over for review, and I'll see you again next time.